I couldn't pass up some enticing deals from Unity Asset Store Summer Sale. And one of my most surprising purchases is Mega World by Vladislav Surikov. To sum it up, this thing magically converts any of your game objects into a special Quadro render object. These objects are managed straight onto the GPU. It's like a cloning factory so that you can have thousands of objects on Unity terrain without a relatively noticeable performance hit. Great for developing in the Unity editor and even better for desktop executable. Some caveats though. You may have to be certain to have a GPU-enabled computer, and an easy adjustment to the Unity project settings may be necessary. But it's so worth it. Let's get started. Open up Unity, jump straight to the package manager and search for Mega World. Mega World is also astoundingly under 3 megabytes at the time of this download. Incredible? I have to say, I love lightweight plugins and packages. Okay, great. We are done. Now what? Let's take a look at the console. There are a few requirements to adjust to get Mega World working. Nothing to be alarmed about. You'll notice that the console mentions something about unsafe code. We'll need to enable this in the project settings. Don't worry, contrary to its name, we'll be okay. You will also need to make sure API compatibility is set to .NET 4.0. Let's enable the unsafe code. Now, Unity will recompile, and everything will be ready to go. I'll start with the terrain. I usually prefer to center my terrain in 3D space. Before we start adding the cool stuff, add the Quadro renderer to your scene. Right-click on the hierarchy and let's add the Quadro renderer. Now if you already have a Unity terrain, the Quadro manager will detect it and keep track of all Unity terrains. Sometimes you may have to click on the Find All Unity Terrain button. This is the tree I'm going to work with. It's a prefab from the asset store. I'm going to leave it in the scene for reference. Just remember this is a normal game object sitting in our scene. I'm going to drag the prefab over to the Quadro renderer prototype box like so. The object will be converted to a quad renderer item. As far as I know, there is no way of really knowing it's a quad item, except that it will show in the prototype box list. If everything goes well, the tool will magically create all the files needed to convert the item to a Quadro item. I did get some shader errors with the tree. However, that is my fault because I know I did not adjust one of the LOD for the universal render pipeline. Let's go to the File menu above and click on Windows, Mega World and Main. This will open up the Paint tools. It's got everything you need to paint to the terrain. Click on the editor and add a type. This is just an arbitrary way to group different variants of the object, like different variations of the same species of tree. I just dragged my prefab over and I can start the paint process. There are multiple brush types to explore and try out. I love the Modify brush, which I'll show you in a moment. It adds instant variation in a non-destructive way. That's pretty much it to get you started. Vladislav has quite a few video demonstrations and detailed online documentation. Performance is amazing. Just keep in mind I'm using one of my crusty computer that has no dedicated GPU. So I was quite impressed. You can find Mega World in the asset store. Thanks for watching my first video. Bye bye.